Good evening. I am Pankaj Chothani, a member of L&T Veterans Senior Citizen Group. We express our sincere gratitude to dignitaries and everyone for joining this online inspirational and spiritual discourse by respected BK Shivani Didiji. May I now request President of L&T Veterans Senior Citizen Group, Sri P. A. Mehta Sahib, to welcome all and commence the program. Mr. Mehta Sahib.
Good evening, friends. I am PM Mehta, President of L&T Veterans Senior Citizen Group, who has organized this program. First of all, I would like to still thank Brahma Kumari Group and Shivani Ben to agree to give talk to us on the topic selected by us, that is stress-free retired life, which is of utmost importance to all of us. In this program, we invited other L&T Veterans Group, and there are 9 other groups who has joined us in this program. There were several inquiries about our group activities and number of requests to join our group, and I would like to say something about our group at this stage. Our group is of about 115 people, all from L&T earlier Heavy Engineering Division of Powai and Hazira. Primarily, our objective of our group is to help each other as and when required, bring members nearer to each other and help them in wherever they really require, and entertainment in our retired life. We help our members during sickness, hospitalization, serious sickness in the family, all physical but non-financial. Our members also helped other groups, other people, to get corona testing done fast, hospital admission, medicines as required, and also getting vaccination done fast. In good time, in 1920, we had about 12 programs in 1 year. The programs were of musical program, advice on investment, yoga, tree plantation, 1-day picnic, 2-day short tour, 8 days long tour, and most important of all, program of our own people and awards to children and grandchildren of our members for their achievement in different fields, there is study, sports, or anywhere else. We also had 2 get-togethers with our spouses and 2 exclusive programs for ladies. Our group also contributed over rupees 9 lakhs in last April-May in PM Care and CM Care Fund for COVID-19 help. This year, with movement restrictions, we had 8 virtual programs on Zoom from April till now. The programs were on wheel making, yoga, money matters, Sugam Sangeet, medical advices, brain fitness, and now spiritual. Friends, we have many L&T Veterans Group, and today's program we have invited the groups over whom we could contact. I repeat that ours is Heavy Engineering Division based group, and we do not want to take any more members. We think ideal number for our type of group is about 100. I wish that all L&T Veterans Group be in touch with each other. There appears to be at least 50 to 20 L&T Veterans groups. I wish that all L&T Veterans Group be in touch with each other, share their experience, encourage the meeting each other, exchange feedback for the different programs, and enjoy the retired life. In today's program, we are privileged to have with us our L&T Group Chairman, Mr. A.M. Nayak, CEO and MD, Mr. S.N. Subramaniam. We are also honored to have with us today Mr. S.R. Subramaniam, our ex-president and MD, who retired in 1994 and is quite active and going very strong at the age of 93 years today. I thank all the people for joining us and here today's very important and interesting program for all of us. Thank you all. Namaskar. I now request Mr. Nayak to address us.
Thank you, Mr. P.M. Mehta. I think you gave a wonderful speech of your organization activities, and I was quite happy to know that 115 families at least are getting together once in a while and are happy together. Hello, friends, and a very good evening to you all. First of all, my thanks to Shivani Didi for taking the time and effort to talk to us and giving us valuable advice on leading a stress-free retired life. I would even add stress-free life, not just the retired. I also thank the other sisters from Brahma Kumaris for spending time with us here. Each of you must find out for yourself what is the cause that you can take up and contribute to. It could be philanthropy. As I have repeatedly said to the media who came to interview me, for philanthropy, you don't need a lot of money. What you need is a heart to give. And that is really gives you inner satisfaction and inner pleasure. And Mr. Mehta said about all the joyous activities, entertainment, and all kinds of things, but you should experience. Once giving, what pleasure will it give to you? You cannot believe. It will surpass all other happiness. There is no doubt that we are going through a very tough time in the last couple of years. The pressures of living have been compounded by successive waves of a global pandemic. There is therefore a critical need to recharge our spiritual senses and ensure that we retain a positive attitude to life. Amid the critical situation around us, I think the Brahma Kumaris have a long experience in providing such counsel to the world. I first came across the institution decades ago, and since then have been watching them grow and spread their message of healing around the world. I have found that the Brahma Kumaris live their message. They themselves are the finest practitioner of what they prescribe to others. They talk to the world about simple ways of living, and they themselves are simple in the way they interact with life. That is true spiritual leadership, when you lead by example. This is an institution founded by Prajapita Brahma Baba is unique in other aspects. It is the world's largest spiritual organization, largely led by women. Now, of course, there are quite a few men as well who have joined, spread in over 110 countries. Their teaching have inspired many people from different countries and culture and to contribute to give back to the society and help the underprivileged. Their role in the field of education, environment, sustainability, and healthcare have been remarkable. They reach out to local communities through seminars and workshops on the meditation and personal development at community center, prisons, hospitals, homes for elderly, etc. My own experience with Brahma Kumaris has been full of learning and to an extent given me the urge to do things for others. I know the Shivani Didi is one of the Brahma Kumaris who have helped in taking the Brahma Kumaris teaching across the globe. Her teaching in the book Happiness Unlimited has guided many souls and emphasized that it is the quality of journey which matters and not only the destination. I do not wish to take too much of your time because we are here to listen to Shivani Didi. I will add that as L&T veterans, we have all reached to a stage when we ask ourselves some fundamental question about the meaning of life and what we can leave behind for the next generation. I think you will find answers to the questions in the wisdom that is being shared by the Brahma Kumaris. And lastly, I want to leave behind a message. I think in all the programs that you have narrated, there has to be a program which gives you a tremendous satisfaction and happiness in what you can do for others. If all of you I know for decades can at least help one family and their children to become highly educated people and change their life, that much anyone can do, provided that it comes in your mind as a means for joy. And I don't want to say much of your time. Thank you very much, and my best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, respected Sri M. Naik Sahib, for your keynote address and inspiring words. I now request our group member and a devoted admirer of Brahma Kumaris organization, Sri Mahesh Amin, to introduce Divine Sister B.K. Shivani Didi ji. Mahesh bhai.
Om Shanti. Our very beloved and respected Mr. A.M. Naik Sahib, respected S.N. Subramaniam Sahib, respected P.M. Mehta Sahib, L&T veteran senior citizen group members and guests. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Baba's Noor Noor-e Ratan, BK Sister Shivani Didi, and Divine Sister BK Deepa Didi on behalf of all of us. हम सब की तरफ से आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. Shivani Didi, we express our deep gratitude to you for readily accepting our request to give us your time and enlighten us with your spiritual knowledge on the topic of the day. Didi ji, your name is on the lips of almost every household, not only in India, but all over the globe. You are one of the most in-demand, world-famous motivational speaker. Our Mr. Naik has already given enough background of you, so I request you to start your discourse and enlighten us with your speech. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. It's really a fortune to be a part of this group of angels where wisdom, love, respect, and most important, emotional strength is the asset, it's the quality. Being a part of the L&T family, I think Brahma Kumaris and the L&T family, especially under the guidance of our brother Naik ji, has been a beautiful relationship actually. It's a relationship which has gone on for few decades now. So it feels like meeting family. Let's take a minute of silence. And the topic that you have chosen is a stress-free life. So for that, we need to first know the cause of our stress. And then we should be able to free it, of course. So let's take a minute of silence. Just come here to the center and just ask yourself a simple question and write down the answer. You need to write it down right away. What is the cause of stress in my life? The word is very common. Everybody talks about it. Everyone seems to say stress is normal. But I need to ask myself, what is the cause of stress in my life? Chinta, tension, whatever may be the word. Or whenever my mind gets a little disturbed, what and who is the cause of stress in my life? And we need to just reflect and write down. What is it that causes some kind of worry or disturbance or anxiousness to my mind? I need to know the reason. Because I really need to be aware for myself. Is this really true that I'm experiencing stress, or is it that everybody else is talking about it? And so I started believing, okay, this is normal. And we are living in times that if we say to somebody that I'm not stressed, then people will look at us and say, Kyu, you're not normal? Aapko stress nahi hota, you're not normal. So we're living in a very different era. We're living in times where all these uncomfortable emotions are called normal. Now, had we to go back to our work life and while we were in the organization, so if that time somebody had to ask us, what is the cause of our stress? We would have said, okay, work pressure, targets, work-life balance. So many things would have been there which would have been related to work. And so if we have to go and talk to those who are right now in L&T or in any other organization of the world, a large reason of their stress would be something to do with work. And when we were at work, we would blame something there for the cause of our stress. Now we are at home. We are not at work. So now we cannot blame over there. So now what can be the cause of my stress? So I need to ask myself. So what has happened is, since the time we were children, we kind of programmed, the mind gets programmed. We're programmed to believe that whatever is happening outside, my work, my family, my spouse, my children, the weather, or COVID. So whatever is happening outside is the cause of what I'm feeling inside. Simple equation. We need to check this today because this equation is very important for how I'm going to live here. Whatever is happening outside is the cause of what I'm feeling inside, is what we believe. So when we were in school, we used to be asked to write an essay on the happiest day of your life. And when we wrote an essay on the happiest day of our life, it was about when something very nice happened outside. So that's where the coding started happening. That when things are perfect, I'm happy. And so obviously when things are not perfect, so to be upset or sad or low feeling or stress is normal. And so we've grown up like that. And now to be happy, we thought that situations should be our way, people should be our way, people should behave my way, people should work my way, everything should be my way. Earlier it would be at office, now it could be at home. My children also should be my way, my grandchildren also should be my way, because my way is not really my way. My way is the right way. I am saying it for their good because it is right. They don't understand what is right for them. So our intention is very pure. Our intention is that we're thinking the good for them, the best for them, but don't know why. They don't seem to understand what we're saying to them, that what is right. And then we tend to get a little irritated, sometimes a little angry, sometimes a little agitated, sometimes a little stressed, sometimes felt that nobody values what I'm saying, nobody respects me, nobody cares for me, sab apni hi duniya mein chalte rehte hain, meri taraf koi dhyan hi nahi deta hai. And those kind of thinking then starts making me feel a little low. So stress is a very simple formula, which I'm sure you use in L&T every single day at your work. So stress is pressure divided by resilience. That equation is same in physics and same in life also. Stress is pressure divided by resilience. So pressure is the situations outside. So that situation can be at work, that situation can be at home. Pressure can even be the health of my body. So even if my body is not very healthy, sometimes that becomes the cause of our stress. So pressure is everything outside. This is I, and everything outside me is the pressure, which means situations in my life. It could be the traffic on the road. It could be how my son is talking to me. It could be the weather. It could be COVID. It could be a disease in the body. It's outside. It's pressure. But stress is not equal to pressure. Stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. So we somewhere ignored the denominator, and whenever the pressure increased, we said stress is normal. And because we were not looking at the denominator, and then we started believing that stress is normal because pressures were always there, which means things were not happening my way always. And so we started believing that stress is normal. And once we started saying stress is normal, we allowed our mind to create it. So, as the elders of the family, and not just your family, but the elders of the family, your community, the society, the township where you're living, like Brother shared so beautifully with us, it takes nothing to be able to go and change somebody's life. We don't need money for that, but just sharing our experiences, sharing the wisdom of life, sharing what we have learned in our lifetime, and educating people. So education could be education of the outer world, and also education could be education of the inner world. And so it's so important for us to first experience what are normal emotions. So first thing, we'll take this equation. Stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. And we will now start focusing on the denominator. On the denominator. The one thing I should share with you, that all of you are one of the most resilient people in society right now, because resilience for some reason has been dipping in the last few years. So, and there is a reason behind it, which we will see. So every next generation is intellectually becoming very strong, socially very well connected, very well informed. Your grandchildren would be knowing more about technology and everything that's happening, maybe more than even you. So very intelligent, but emotionally not very, very strong always. Once in a while, yes, but sometimes they dip. And there's a reason behind that. And that's why your role becomes extremely important, because the foundation on which the family is standing, when that foundation is strong, then that foundation can radiate that same strength to the rest of the family. And that is emotional resilience. In the last 1 year, there's been a steep rise in mental health issues of the country. Steep. It just went very steep, not just the country, also the world. And so it's an issue of concern that if mental health issues will rise so sharply, what's the future? What's the future of our children and grandchildren? Are they going to be just coming first in class, but yet experiencing anxiety and panic attack? That's not success. Success is not just our intellectual performance. Success is our emotional stability to be able to handle what life has to offer. Things are not always our way. So that stability, each one of you is going to be an angel for the country and for the world. So let's take it up as our mission, as our purpose of life. Seva, like Brother shared, seva is one thing which gives the most happiness. That's another equation of life which we never got right, because we thought that success means this, getting, chahiye. Sabko kuch na kuch chahiye hi hota hai. But happiness doesn't lie in chahiye. It is not in wanting and taking. Happiness is in giving. And that's where the word safalta, success is equal to safalta. So the Hindi word is very nice, safalta. So safal means aapne apna samay safal kiya, which means you used your time in a worthwhile way. Aapne apna jeevan safal kiya. You used your life in a worthwhile way. When we're doing something for others. So the nature of everything in nature, which means prakriti, The nature of Prakriti is to give. Everything is giving. Water is giving, the tree is giving, the sun is giving, everything is giving. And they're not even giving. They are just who they are, but giving is their nature. So they give to everyone the same way. Similarly, human beings' nature, our nature is to be a giver, is to be a giver. That is our nature. And that's why our ancestors are called Devi Devtas, deities, Devi Devta. And how is the hand shown of the Devi Devtas? Like this. So both the hands are giving, giving. So what are they giving? They're giving love, they're giving respect, they're giving power, they're giving knowledge, just giving. So giving doesn't require to be anything physical which costs, but giving in terms of our energy, our vibrations. And if we want to shift to being a giver, then we have to be emotionally very strong. Emotionally very strong, which means for me to be able to be a giver to everybody, I should not get affected by what's happening around me. So to be a giver means, now let's say someone behaves a certain way with you, which is not the way you would want them to behave, or someone talks a certain way and you don't like how they have spoken. And even if it is for 30 seconds or 1 minute, if you get irritated or angry or feel hurt or feel rejected or feel disrespected, then even in that 1 minute, we have radiated hurt and anger and irritation. But we are not radiators of that. We are givers of love and respect. We are givers of compassion and empathy. So giving. What am I giving to the world? What am I giving to everyone around me? So if I get affected by people's behavior, then I'm giving negative energy because I got affected. So I got disturbed. Then my vibration, because our energy doesn't remain inside our mind. It's energy, it vibrates. So I vibrate irritation, I vibrate hurt, I vibrate insult, disrespect, and I'm radiating pain to people around me. But when I remain stable, even if someone has not behaved the right way, I discipline them, but I don't get hurt because I understand this is their sanskar, this is their behavior. And when I don't get disturbed, and this is the equation of life, when I don't get disturbed, I advise, but I don't get agitated. I discipline, but I don't get disturbed. I'm calm and untouched by what they have done. Then at that time, I'm a giver. I'm a giver of respect. I'm a giver of power. The one thing that everybody around us needs is power, the power to be emotionally strong. They don't need advice, what is right or wrong. They know it, but they don't have the strength to implement it. They need power. And so we all need to become like a lighthouse, might house, radiating power to everybody around us. But for us to be able to radiate power, we have to be very powerful here. So visualize an energy circle around you. Like all our deities, they always have a white energy circle around them, the aura. So what does that energy circle mean? It's a scan of who I am here. All my memories, my intentions, my thoughts, my feelings. So everything which is in my inner world reflects in that aura, in the energy circle. So for the deities, the aura is white in color. Now we have to ask ourselves and draw an energy circle around you right now. What would be the color of our energy circle? What would be the color of our energy circle? Because our energy circle radiates, it vibrates to everyone. So that is the biggest seva that we are doing 24/7. We don't even have to do it, it's automatically happening. Our vibrations are radiating, but we have to take care. What's the energy of what's radiating from me? It's like the perfume you choose to wear. If you use perfume, then whatever perfume anybody chooses to wear in the morning, whether people like it or no, they're going to smell only that fragrance throughout the day in your company. So our vibrations are like our perfume. Wherever we go, that fragrance is walking with us. It's walking with us, and everybody gets the vibration of that fragrance. And so people say, I get very good vibes from this person, from this person I don't get very good vibes. So the purpose of our life, this is the purpose of our life, and it's not a purpose of retired life, it's a purpose of everyone's life, that what is going to be the color of my this energy circle, which means who am I going to be here inside. The soul here is carrying two things, sanskar and karam. My sanskar and my karam. So every thought I create, every word I speak, every behavior, it's getting recorded here. It's my sanskar, my nature, and my karam. And who I am here is the color of that energy field. This who I am is influencing everything I do throughout the day. It's radiating to people. And then suddenly, 1 minute comes and I, the soul, leave the body. See, in the last 2 months, someone around you must have left. Someone you know, a friend, a relative, a contact person, they suddenly left. They didn't even know that they were going to leave. They were not even prepared for leaving. Just a little fever, just felt little breathless, went to the hospital, went alone into the ICU. And then they could not meet anyone again after that. If we just learn something from there, were they prepared? And have they done everything that they were meant to do here before they left? Here, we have unlimited things that we can do. But here, like you all said, that you all had a session on how to prepare a will. Beautiful. So, why do we prepare a will? We prepare a will so that after we've gone, everything that's left behind needs to be managed properly, that who's getting what. Now, when we prepare a will, do we think, oh, I'm not dying, why should I prepare a will? We always prepare a will well in advance so that there are no issues after I leave. So a will is prepared so that it's taken care of the people who are left behind. But what about taking care of that thing which I'm going to take with me? I'm taking care of everything that I'm going to leave behind, but I also need to take care of everything that I'm going to carry with me. I cannot leave that behind. I'm going to carry that with me. So every time I need to remember that in every scene of my life, it is my sanskar and my karam which is getting captured here. It's getting recorded here. So someone behaves a certain way with you, that's their destiny. But how I respond to them, how I think about them, how I speak to them, how I behave gets recorded here. Cut, next scene, now someone else does something, something else happens. How I think about them, how I speak about them, how I behave, getting recorded here. So a constant recording is happening, constant recording, karam and sanskar. I need to just check that my recording is accurate. My recording is accurate because depending on what gets recorded here will be my vibration. So if I record hurt, if I record they were not right to me, this is not how they should have behaved with me, I will never forgive the way they have spoken with me. इतना छोटा सा बच्चा और इस तरह से बात करता है मेरे साथ, ऐसे तो नहीं किसी ने सिखाया ही नहीं इसको कुछ. I record all these things inside. And once I start recording them, my that aura, which can be white, divine, starts getting stains. It has stains of feeling rejected, dejected, feeling bad, feeling low. It has stains here. And now that vibration is going to radiate to everybody. Most important is, I need to be prepared. And I is not because I'm retired. I means any age, any age. I need to be prepared that any minute will come when I, the soul, will leave this body. Am I going to carry the right sanskars and karam with me? It's like 31st March. And next day is 1st April. But 31st March is the closing balance sheet. It reflects how I've done my business in that year. My right and wrong, my good and bad, everything is going to show in the 31st March balance sheet. But the closing balance sheet of one day, next day becomes the opening balance sheet. There's so much power in this thing. Next day it becomes the opening balance sheet. Similarly, my last minute in this body, my last minute in this body. And then I, the soul, enter the womb of a mother. And I only carry one thing with me, my sanskar and my karam. Everything I leave behind, everything that I can see with these eyes is going to be left behind. And that's why people say, क्या लेकर जाते हैं अपने साथ? खाली हाथ आते हैं, खाली हाथ जाते हैं. But that's not true. हम खाली हाथ नहीं आते और हम खाली हाथ भी नहीं जाते. We don't come empty-handed, we don't leave empty-handed. A baby born, what is a baby born with? The baby is born with sanskar and karam. And that's why every baby born has a different destiny. Even twins, same parents, same environment, same grandparents, same schools, same home, everything same, even body looking identical. Identical looking twins. Nature is different of both the children, and destiny is different of both the children. Why? Because they are two souls who were born into that family. They've come from a past. So every time I need to remember, हम खाली हाथ नहीं आते, हम खाली हाथ नहीं जाते. Baby born with karam and sanskar, and I, the soul, when I will leave with my karam and sanskar, and that karam and sanskar will become my opening balance sheet in the next costume. So my last minute here is my closing balance sheet, and my 31st March can come any day and any time. It has nothing to do with the age of the body. It can come any day, any time. Important is everything sorted? Is everything sorted? So sometimes we need to sit and reflect. In the Brahma Kumaris, we have a very powerful line. हर घड़ी को अपनी अंतिम घड़ी समझो. हर घड़ी को अपनी अंतिम घड़ी समझो और उस तरह से जीवन जियो. Live your life as if it's your last moment. Now, if I knew that this was my last moment, what would I do? If I knew this was my last moment, if suppose today now it's 6:30, if I know that I'm going to leave at 9 o'clock today, ho bhi sakta hai, we come to know 3 hours before that I'm going to leave at 9 o'clock today. What would we do in 3 hours? We need to think. What would we do in 3 hours if we knew that we were going to leave at 9 o'clock? And whatever we would like to do in those 3 hours, we should do it today. We should definitely do it today. It's very important. If there's someone we need to forgive, we should do that. If there's someone we need to ask for forgiveness, if there's someone we need to be grateful, convey our gratitude. If there's something that I had to say to someone which I have not done, I have to. I have to keep this karmic balance sheet very, very clear and sorted. Every transaction sorted. Like len den hota hai, a financial give and take. A financial give and take. Suppose I borrow a lot of money and then one day I leave. So that len den will get affected, my family will get affected. No, because I left and I had taken such huge loans. So that is financial, physical, outwardly len den. But one is len den here. Karmic accounts, not sorted, holding something of the past. We need to release what we have held on of the past. Because if I, the soul, leave and I carry my past with me, then my next destiny chart will not have a beautiful, smooth graph. It will have, oh, ye thoda sa bhari hai, ye thoda sa bhari hai. You know, all those things which the astrologer tells us, ye thoda bhari hai, ye thoda bhari hai, ye saal bhari hai, wo saal bhari. ये सब भारी भारी कहाँ से आया हमारी destiny में? We carried it with those little भारी भारी emotional blockages which we carried with us. We have to live light. We have to live light in our life so that when we leave, first, the way we live will be very easy. If we live light, leaving the body is a very, very, what can you say the right word for that? We have to live with ease. You know, we have to be able to live with ease and leave without anything pulling us here. Otherwise, things pull us. And what all will pull us? Everything that we're very attached to. If we're very attached to something, we're not able to leave with ease. And if we don't leave with ease, and if we leave with a lot of attachments, then we leave heavy. And when we leave heavy, then those heavy things come in our next destiny chart. So it's very important to live our life very light, very light. And so emotional strength, emotional power is actually means detachment. Detachment. And what does detachment mean? Detachment means my mind is not dependent on your behavior. My mind is not dependent on your behavior. This is detachment. Again, we've grown up believing that attachment is normal. And so when we love someone, we say, I'm very attached to you. The word is not right. The word is not right. We should say, I love you so much. But when we say, I'm attached to you, now everything starts changing. So it's like two children. If two children are born joined, कभी कभी दो बच्चे ऐसे जुड़े हुए पैदा होते हैं, जुड़वा बच्चे नहीं, जुड़े हुए बच्चे. They're joined together. Life is very uncomfortable. They walk together, sit together, sleep together, everything they have to do together. This is physical attachment. They're attached to each other. Then there is a surgery and they are separated. If this was love, then they should have kept them all joined like this, right? It's very uncomfortable. So they are operated and they live separately like this, detached physically. Now one can sit, the other can stand, one can go to school, the other can sleep. Life becomes very comfortable. Similarly, attachment emotionally. This is physical, body joint. Now attachment. What is attachment? When my mind is attached to another person's mind and behavior. This other person can be your spouse, can be your child, can be your grandchildren, can be anybody, can be a friend, can be a neighbor, where my mind is attached. It's attached to other people's behaviors, minds. Now, if someone in your family is feeling low, they're feeling worried, suppose your child is having some issue at job and they're having some issues there. Now they are little disturbed. So how should we be? How should we be? If we are attached, then if they are disturbed, we are also disturbed. If they are feeling low, then we are also feeling low. And then if your friend will ask you, क्या बात है? आज आप उदास हो? तो क्या करे? मेरा बच्चा परेशान है. तो वो तो बच्चा परेशान है, आप क्यों उदास हो? तो मेरा अटैचमेंट है ना, बच्चा परेशान है तो मैं खुश थोड़ी हो सकता हूँ. This is what we believe. This is what we believe. Now, is it good to be attached to other people's minds and behavior? What happens if they are in pain? We are also in pain. And if we are in pain, who's going to bring them out of their pain? Who's going to pull them out of their pain? So it's like four people of a family walking on the road. One person fell into a pit. And the other three say, oh, I love you so much. So we also fall into the pit. That's not love. Love means if one has fallen into the pit, we have to remove him out. We have to bring him out. But if we are attached, then we will all fall into the pit. So that's why it's very important for us to start practicing detachment. Detachment. And detachment doesn't mean that the love reduces. Detachment just means that love becomes unconditional. Unconditional love, unconditional acceptance. These are words which we read in the Speaking Tree in Times of India, or we read in the Life Positive Spiritual magazines, and we say, sounds very good. Unconditional love, unconditional acceptance. So what is the meaning of unconditional love? Which means you behave how you want to behave. From my side, there's only love flowing. There's no hurt. There's no hurt. There's no rejection. It's only love. So it's unconditional, which means I don't get affected by your behavior because I am detached. This detachment equals to unconditional love. Your love will remain untouched. You will never go into pain because you are not attached to their behavior and your mind is not dependent on their behavior. So spirituality gives us the power to become detached, detached from a lot of things. And it's very important to practice this detachment. Simple detachment first is from what we eat and drink. Sometimes we're very attached to what we eat and drink. It's very important because we have to become a master of our sense organs. We cannot say, I cannot live without eating this. I cannot live without drinking this. This is to a very low vibration life where my mind is dependent on the food I eat. So power is where I am the master of my mind and my sense organs. I eat what I like. I drink what I like, but my mind is not dependent on that. It's not dependent. So it's not attached to my food. So simple. Let's take simple things by which our power will start increasing. The soul is like a battery. We have to charge this battery. Simple things. Just look at first what we eat and drink. For anything that you eat and drink, don't ever say, I cannot live without my morning cup of tea. सुबह की चाय के बिना तो मेरा चलता ही नहीं है. This line is deep attachment. This is saying that I am dependent on one cup of tea. And if I don't get my cup of tea, I'm going to get very disturbed in my mind and in my body. So we became dependent on what? On one cup of tea. We are powerful souls. We are powerful souls. We can drink tea, but not become dependent on tea. Two things are very different. Very, very different. Drink tea, but don't become dependent on tea. And so for that, we need to change our vocabulary. We should never ever say, चाय के बिना मेरा चलता नहीं. कोई भी चीज ऐसी दुनिया में नहीं है जिसके लिए हमें कहना है इसके बिना मेरा चलता नहीं. कोई चीज नहीं, कोई लोग नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं. For nothing we will say, I cannot live without this, because then I'm binding myself like that in chain with that thing that my mind is dependent on. And the more my mind is dependent on things, the more I become emotionally weak, because then I need that to feel happy. I need my phone to work right to be happy. The minute it's not working, I get disturbed. इसके बिना तो मेरा चलता नहीं. So सबसे पहले, let's check in our food habits. Is there anything on which my mind is dependent? Most important, let's check. Do I eat for taste or do I eat for health? Do I eat for taste or do I eat for health? So now here somewhere we can start considering that now at least I should start eating for health. Actually, to all our life, we should be eating for health. We should never be eating for taste. We should be eating for health. But somewhere again, we've been programmed. We've been programmed since childhood. ये tasty है, ये tasty है, ये tasty है, ये tasty है. And we said ये tasty है ना, मेरे को बहुत खुशी हुई. So again, we programmed that food is equal to happiness. Food was not going to be equal to happiness. Food was going to be equal to health. But we said ये tasty है, and when I eat tasty food, I become happy. So when I don't like the taste of what I eat, it's very natural to get irritated or angry. ये क्या बनाया? ये कैसे बनाया? ये ठंडा क्यों है? इसमें नमक क्यों नहीं है? ऐसे कोई बनाता है? That's it. My karma and sanskar are getting spoiled just because of one meal. Just because something was not made my way. I can tell somebody कि हाँ अगली बार आप इसको ठीक करना, but I will have it with ease. It's just a simple practice. If you just practice for a few days awareness, you can eat a meal without salt. It's just a thought. It's just here actually. It's nothing. And the other option is नमक कम कैसे डाल दिया? मतलब इतना भी नहीं. एक खाना खाना होता है, उसको भी ध्यान से नहीं बनाते हैं. नमक भी नहीं ठीक से डाला हुआ, गरम भी नहीं किया. We can behave like that also. Both options of living we have. Both the options of living we have. But we need to remember, in one, I am the master of my mind. I'm the master of my sense organs. I'm eating for health. I do not allow to food to disturb my mind. This makes me powerful. This builds up my that inner resilience, the denominator. And in the second one, I'm so dependent on food, so dependent that I lose my peace of mind. I react, I shout, I get angry, I refuse to eat. So that's how. Just for one meal, I spoilt my karma and I sanskar. And most important, I dipped this battery. I dipped this battery. So one practice we'll do in what we eat and drink. One, prioritize. Eat for health, not for taste. Eat for health. And once you start doing it, you should share that with everybody in the family also. Let's eat for health, not for taste. Not for taste. And if we're choosing for taste, we better check that it's healthy. It's healthy because a lot of our children and grandchildren are eating a lot of things which are very tasty according to them, but not healthy for them. And that started taking a toll on their body. So with that wisdom, let's become that powerhouse who's going to change in a very subtle way the vibrations of the house by changing our own lifestyles. Because emotional health, building up that resilience, just needs simple lifestyle habits. Simple lifestyle habits. So first, check food and whatever we drink. Experiment with a vegetarian diet, a plant-based diet. We will not create a sanskar where our food is causing death to someone, because death of one cannot be health of another. It can be proteins, but it cannot be health. Animal in a slaughterhouse has vibrations of lot of pain, anxiety, fear, helplessness. then violence, and then death. That's not the kind of food we should eat. Food is energy. Food is not just nutrition. Food is vibration. So jaisa an वैसा मन, जैसा मन वैसा तन. So ये तीन चीजों का कितना connection है? An, man, and tan. And so our food should be a high vibration food. A high vibration food. So first, experiment with a plant-based diet. Second, which you can all do, very important, because it's from the kitchen that the minds of the whole family get affected. Jaisa an vaisa man is power. It's not just a statement. It's a power which is not being used enough, because a lot of us today like to eat outside. Your children, your grandchildren would be ordering food sitting at home. So these are simple habits which are affecting the mind. So home cooked food, and home cooked food cooked in very powerful energy. So always have in the kitchen very high energy words playing. So which means bhajan, spiritual songs, mantra, prayers playing in the kitchen 24/7. Which means let's convert the kitchen into a place of worship. How is prasad cooked in the temple? How is langar cooked in the gurdwara? It's only cooked like that. There's high energy words playing where it is being cooked. And the one who is cooking in the remembrance of the divine, in the remembrance of the supreme, not chatting on the phone while cooking, not listening to movie songs while cooking, not gossiping with somebody with one earphone in over here and cooking. That food is not healthy for the family, because food and water absorbs everything. One thing that you can do for the entire family is power. There's so much we can do for the family actually. Every morning, have something in which you collect the drinking water of the family. Everybody, the whole family will drink that water then throughout the day. So you have a matka or a surai or whatever in which you fill the water for the entire family. One thing is you can sun charge that water, which means you put it in the balcony or on your terrace and have the sun's energy going into that water. Second is you energize the water with your vibrations. And so connect to the supreme power, meditate, and say very powerful words into that water. I am a powerful being. I am happy always. My body is perfect and healthy. So say all those words which you want should become the thoughts of everybody in the family. Everybody in the family. I exercise daily. My family is united. We accept each other. We accept each other unconditionally. We respect each other unconditionally. Put all this into the water every day, and then let everybody fill their bottle and take with them. And they wouldn't even know that in the water you have added all these beautiful energy words for them, that I'm powerful, I'm happy, I'm healthy, we are united, we accept each other. The water will absorb all that. And whatever the food and the water will absorb starts becoming the thoughts of everybody. And you will see things at home start changing. That's how much power is there in these words. You are what you eat. Jaisa an, vaisa man, jaisa pani, vaisi vani. This is power. This is power. So let's start energizing the water which the whole family is going to have. Then the food. Even when the food is being cooked, all these words should be said in the food, and the high energy words should be put in the food. Then once the food is ready, make a little thali with little of all that has been cooked that day. You know, the choti boxes, dabbi rakke, you put all that like sample of the food. And then prepare a thali and sit in the room where you pray or meditate with those with the little all the food that is prepared for that day, and just create focused God's vibration and energy on that food. And again, energize and put these powerful thoughts into the food, whatever you want to say to the family. But it has to be like powerful affirmation words. I am a happy soul. So if somebody at home is worried, something is not happening right in school, something is not right happening in their organization, just put over there in the food and water, I'm a happy soul. I'm a powerful soul. I'm calm and stable. And so you meditate with the food. And then take back that thali and those little samples of food which have been energized, and then mix with the rest of the food. We do this daily. We do this daily for our every meal. We do that every house. Everyone at the Brahma Kumaris does this. You know why? Because we know the power. It's got amazing power. When we add this God's power, God's vibration, and knowledge, and the affirmations which we want to manifest for our family. So we must energize, because the children and grandchildren might not do it, and they might otherwise say we don't have time to do it. So what? We have ample time to do it for everybody. So we energize the drinking water of the family, and we energize the food that they are going to eat 3 times with these very, very powerful thoughts. Then let's make a little culture at home that while we're eating food, we don't watch phone or TV. So let's make it like a little culture. You'll be giving a big gift to your children and especially to your grandchildren. We know how they love distracted eating now. They pick up their plate and sit in front of the television, or the phone is with them while they are eating. And both these things are not good for the mind, not good for the body. So we are going to gently shift them from distracted eating to mindful eating. Mindful eating. And for that, we have to do it first. So we will first switch off our phone and our TV, and it'll say, "Nahi, khana khane ki time 10 minutes, we don't do this." And take care that when everybody is eating, no one should talk about problems. No one should have an argument while eating. Gently, we have to tell them, "ये सब जो बोल रहे हैं, ये खाने में जा रहा है. The khana is absorbing all these what we are talking. So let's eat, and then we will discuss our problems." We have to be very careful when the food and water is before us. It should not absorb any negative words. Any negative words. So no problem discussion, no argument discussion, just happy conversations. Happy conversations. And most important, if we make it a habit that just before eating, we pause for 5 seconds. We pause for 5 seconds, connect to the supreme power, say our thank you, and then radiate this powerful energy into the food. I'm powerful, I'm happy, my body is perfect and healthy. Radiate that into the food. Let everybody do this as a family. Let's do it together. Less than 5 seconds it will take. We put those powerful words into the food. Food starts becoming prasad, and that starts energizing the mind and the body. And this is a very powerful tool to build that denominator. Stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. The more I build on the denominator, which means the soul power, the battery is increasing. The more the battery is increasing, the more I will not get affected. I will not get affected by situations, by people, because my emotional fitness level is increasing. My battery is getting energized. My emotional fitness level is increasing. I will remain calm. I will remain stable. People might not behave a right way. I will forgive very easily. I will not hold it onto my mind. Why? Because my emotional fitness level is increasing. So the first thing, I got detached from food and what I eat and drink. You continue to eat and drink what you like, but don't get dependent on it and don't react for it. Never react for food. That means it's overpowered our mind. If it's made well, very good, thank you. If it's not made well, yet very good, thank you. Usko prasad banakar khana hai. See, when we get prasad, we never check what the prasad is. We don't even ask we don't say, "Oh, laddu mila hai, bahut tasty," because we are not eating prasad for taste. We are eating prasad for its energy, for its energy. So we don't check what has been cooked. We don't check what is the taste of what it has been cooked. Kuch bhi prasad mile, we value it. We value it because prasad is energizing. Same thing we will do with the food that is cooked at home. So one is the food and water. This is very important to build up that inner resilience. Second is detachment from people. Detachment means unconditional love. Let's remember, detachment doesn't mean moving away. Detachment means unconditional love. So detachment from people means people's behavior don't affect my mind. People's behavior don't affect my mind, for which we need to remember a very simple thing. Suppose your child, or suppose your son-in-law or daughter-in-law or your grandchildren, our immediate family, or suppose your spouse doesn't do something or say something your way. So you know what does our mind say? मेरा बेटा होकर ऐसे बोला, मेरी बेटी होकर ऐसे बोला, मेरा दामाद होकर ऐसा किया. So I am creating a conditioning which says, Mera beta should be like this. Mera grandson should be like this. Now we need to remember they are playing the role of Mera beta, Mera grandson, but they are a soul on a journey. They are a soul on a journey. They came into my family, but they have come from a past. And so all their sanskars cannot be the same as mine. Some of their sanskars will match my sanskars, my family sanskars, and some sanskars will be completely different. And some sanskars will be like absolutely poles apart. So suppose you have a sanskar of reaching everywhere 15 minutes before time, and you're just always ready before time. And you say, Chalo, we are ready, let's go. And your son or your wife or your daughter-in-law or your grandson beautifully are always 15 minutes late, and you're always early and they're always late. And every time that also can be an issue of an argument. "Ye kya hai, time pe nahi tayar hote." Because we believe that my sanskar is the right sanskar because I am punctual. So they are not right. उनको समझ नहीं आता, उनको वैल्यू नहीं है टाइम की, लाइट नहीं ऑफ करते, वैल्यू नहीं है बिजली की। ये छोटी छोटी बातों पे हमारा आर्ग्यूमेंट होता रहता है सारा दिन. We need to advise, but we don't need to get into this entanglement because we need to remember they are not my beta, my grandson. They are soul on a journey. Soul on a journey. So, like punctuality is my sanskar, so it comes natural for me. Getting late is their sanskar, it comes equally natural for them. They don't have to make any effort to get late. They're able to do it very easily. Like your sanskar could be keeping everything in place, very meticulous, very organized, every paper is in place. Somebody else's sanskar at home could be putting everything up and down, don't know where what is. जब जरूरत होती है तो कुछ मिलता नहीं है, जगह पर पड़ा ही नहीं हुआ है. It is their sanskar. Like this is my sanskar. Soul on a journey. Please change programming. Don't say my beta should be like me, my grandson should be like me. It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. And if we keep saying that, we're only going to go like this with each other. Because what will happen is we will call them wrong. We will say गलत है ये, कहीं भी टाइम पर नहीं पहुंचते हो. And they will look back at you and say, हाँ वो लोग आए नहीं होते, आप पहले ही जाके पहुंच जाते हो प्रोग्राम के अंदर, इतनी जल्दी थोड़ी जाना होता है. So both are calling each other wrong. Both are calling each other wrong. And this creates disrespect. Both are souls and both have different sanskar. We need to always remember soul on a journey, different sanskar. I can advise them, but I cannot reject them that they are wrong. Never call people wrong. ये गलत है, तुम गलत हो, तुम गलत नहीं हो, तुम मेरे से अलग हो. Alag and galat is two completely different energy. Completely different energy. So never say to anyone, हाँ जो तुमने किया है, somebody can make a mistake, that गलती, that is different. But तुम गलत हो, लेट जाना गलत है, लेट उठना गलत है. We cannot keep calling people galat because they will call us galat. And then we say generation gap. The generation is only different. It is not a generation gap. It's only a not understanding that the soul is different. So one thing is never call anybody galat. Never. Not even in the mind. Not even in the mind. Not even in your thoughts. Because vibrations will reach. Vibrations of being critical and judgmental about them will reach them. So never call anyone galat in your mind. You can call them alag. ये अलग, ये मेरा बच्चा है लेकिन इसका ये संस्कार बिल्कुल अलग है मेरे से, अलग है, नॉट गलत, अलग है. So alag means I understand. You and me are different. So I will keep radiating to you that you also will become punctual. You also will become meticulous, very sincere, organized. But I will not call you wrong. And I will definitely not get entangled with you about it. This is detachment. Detachment. Where I will advise you for your good, but my mind will not get disturbed because you're not doing it, because my mind is not attached to your behavior. My mind is here, detached. And from here, I give you advice and I give you power and I give you love. I'm not going to get disturbed just because you're going to come late, because my karma and my sanskar is getting affected. And most important, the power I radiate to you, it's all stained now. It's all got anger and irritation inside it. So it's my karam and sanskar also becomes what I give to the world. So it's me and the giving, what I'm doing. Both are getting diluted. So one is detachment from what I eat and drink. Second is detachment from people I practice throughout the day. Their behavior is their behavior. My response is my choice. And I practice that I will say the same thing easy, stability, quiet, respectfully, softly, keep quiet. I don't need to give my opinion on everything. नहीं तो फिर हमारे बच्चे और ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन क्या बोलते हर चीज में टोकते रहते हैं, हर चीज में बोलते रहते हैं. So I will not give opinion unnecessarily in everything. I will keep quiet. I will wait till I'm asked for. I will write it out so that they can read it carefully, even if they can't understand it when I'm saying it to them. So I will message it to them. They can listen and read it when they are at time. So we start practicing this, not getting entangled in everybody's energy fields, just becoming a giver. A giver. Be like the sun. The sun is always giving. Whether we close our windows, whether we switch on tube lights and close all the curtains, the sun continues to give. The sun is not dependent on what we are doing. Similarly, keep giving. Keep giving to your family, to everybody around you. Give your advice, give your wisdom, give your power. Give your power. Don't see whether they are taking it or no. Sometimes we feel bad. They're not listening. They're not taking. मुझे जो मालूम है जीवन का अनुभव है ये 20 साल का बच्चा सुनने को रेडी नहीं है मेरे जीवन का अनुभव है Don't worry, I'm like the sun. I'm like the sun. You close the window or you open the door, I am going to constantly give you the same thing because I am a giver. I'm a giver. Sometimes we feel bad when people don't listen to us. And then sometimes we even say, ठीक है, तो इसके बाद मैंने कुछ बोलना ही नहीं है इनको. जब इन्होंने सुनना नहीं है, तो फिर मैंने बोलना क्यों है? So we withdraw ourselves. A giver will never withdraw. Never withdraw that I am not going to now say anything. I'm not going to interfere in their life. No, I'm not interfering. I'm giving them good advice. Gently, I will give it. I will just write it down on one paper and leave it for them. I will just put a WhatsApp message and leave it over there. That will not get disturbed if they don't follow it immediately. That's the sun. That's the sun. That's the giver. That's God. Just gives. Doesn't bother whether we are following it, not following it, how much time it's taking us for change. Giving, giving, giving. So spirituality, Baba teaches us one very powerful line. Malik banke rai do. Malik banke rai do. Or balak banke svikar kar lo. So which means belongingness, Malik banke, rai do. Give your opinion to everybody at home. But if they don't accept your opinion, balak ban jao. Okay, it's okay, मैंने दे दिया. आपने लिया नहीं लिया वो आपकी मर्जी. Give the prasad. Your wisdom, your experience is the prasad for them. Keep giving. Even if they don't take it today, they will take it another day. But you keep giving. Never feel hurt. Because when you feel hurt, then vibrations of hurt radiate to children and grandchildren. That should never happen. That should never happen. So always remember, I'm the son of this family. I only keep giving. I'm only nurturing. My role is only to nurture them. Only to nurture them. So this gets us detached from family. Detached. We're only giving. We don't want anything. One thing I need to say to myself every day, I want nothing from them. मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए इनसे. मैं सिर्फ देने वाली आत्मा हूँ. Giving, giving, and giving. Once a Mataji came to our center. I said, you're not feeling well? She said, no. I said, did you tell your son that you're not feeling well? No, why should I tell him? I said, if you don't tell him, how will he take you to the doctor? So she said, when he was young, he never told me he was not well. I could make out he's not well. Why can he not make out that I am not well? So we have very sweet expectations from people around us. They should be able to make out that I am not well. Please remember, your children and grandchildren are quite entangled in their lives over here. Quite entangled. It's a different era altogether. If they're able to manage their spouse and their children, they are huge achievers. Huge achievers. Don't think, don't even think, or don't even feel even one bit bad if they have not asked you, how are you feeling today? Do you need anything? आपकी तबीयत ठीक है क्या? आपको डॉक्टर के पास जाना है? Don't wait for them to ask. Just say it प्यार से. Don't think उन्होंने पूछा नहीं मुझे, उन्होंने माँ बोला नहीं मुझे. वो काफी यहाँ पर clutter में चल रहे हैं. Our children and grandchildren, they can take care of us physically, they can take care of us financially, but emotionally don't expect them to take care. Emotionally, we only have to take care of them. We only have to take care of them emotionally because they are an emotionally not as strong a generation as you are. So don't expect. So रोज अपने आप को बोलना, मुझे किसी से कुछ नहीं चाहिए. It's a blessing you have to give yourself every day. Every day you should give yourself this blessing. मुझे किसी से कुछ नहीं चाहिए. कुछ नहीं. मुझे इनमें से किसी से कुछ नहीं चाहिए. ना physical, ना financial, ना emotional. I am only a giver. मैं इन सबको देने वाली आत्मा हूं. This starts getting you to be detached, loving but detached, advising but detached, giving advice but not getting hurt that they have not followed it, not having expectations that they will follow me immediately, obey what I'm saying, not expecting that they should have asked me before they did what they did. अगर वो पूछ लेते तो मैं उसको सही राय देता. अब बिना पूछे किया, अभी गलती होगी इसकी. Don't worry. Soul on a journey. They are soul on a journey. They will make their little mistakes, their galti. That's part of their journey. Our attachment says, my children and grandchildren should never make a mistake. Their life should be perfect. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Nobody's life is like one straight expressway. It's like this, and fine. Our role is not to make their life perfect. Our role is to just hold their hand when they want to hold our hand. If they fall, if they jump, if they bump, that's okay. But we cannot say, nahi, ye galti nahi honi chahiye. They are going to learn with their experiences. Detachment. Sakshi drishta. Detachment. But detached hoke yahan pareshan nahi. Duaएं. You're praying and meditating for them every single day. So detachment from food and drinks, detachment from objects we use. We don't get affected by what we are using. Detachment from people. And then the last thing, which is the most subtle detachment, is detachment from my body. Detachment from my body, which means there could be an illness in my body. There could be something which is up and down. It's fine. It's a part of aging. Sometimes it can happen. To many of us, it would not happen. We are perfectly fit. But if it happens, one thing I need to remember, never ever say, hi, मैं बीमार हूं. मैं बीमार नहीं हूं. मैं is here. I am here. This is only my costume. But when I start saying, मैं बीमार हूं, मैं बुजुर्ग हो गया हूं, मैं नहीं, the soul has no age. The soul has no age. It's only the age of the body which is increasing. Soul is ageless. Here, we will leave this body and we will enter into the womb of a mother and we will be a new baby born. So what's the age of a soul? Atma ajar amar avinashi hai. तो कभी भी नहीं बोलना, I have become 60, I have become 70. My body is now 60 years old. It's completely different. It's a completely different energy. I am 60, starts feeling like, oh, I'm becoming very old. My body is 60 years old. Like the shirt that you are wearing is 5 years old. Simple. Usme kya hai? So I take good care of it. So I take care of my body, but I don't allow the age of the body or the illness of a body or any aches and pains to cause pain here. To cause pain here. You know, we all meet people where someone could have like 100 fever and वो कहेंगे हाय मैं बीमार हूँ, हाय मैं बीमार हूँ, मैं तो बहुत बीमार हूँ आज. And someone could be going through a chronic stage of cancer and their face would be radiating happiness because they are not detached from the body, which detached from the body means the illness is in the body, not in the mind. The illness is in the body, it's not in the mind. It's like my dress is torn, so I don't need to get upset for it. My dress is torn, so I'll take care of it. Similarly, my body can have an issue, but it's not me. So change the vocabulary a little bit. Don't say, I have diabetes. I don't have diabetes. My body has diabetes. Completely different. Completely different. I don't. So never use I have with any ailment. If you want to say I have, then just say I have a perfect, healthy body. Say this every day as your affirmation. I have a perfect, healthy body and it will always be healthy. Even if it's aching and paining, say, I have a perfect, healthy body and it's always going to remain healthy. This is going to make you detached from the body. Even if there are aches and pains here, there will be no pain and sorrow here. There will be no pain and sorrow here because you are master of the body. You will heal the body, but you will not get affected by the body. Detached from the body. So spirituality teaches us as we keep energizing the soul, detachment from food, from objects, from people, and from the body. Now, the way we will live life is called Jivan Mukti. People say, I want Mukti. There is no Mukti, is not there. Mukti is here, which means be in life, but mukt from all this clutter, detached. Jivan Mukti, here. Jivan Mukti is a way of living life, not something that we will get after we leave this life. It's a way of living life. And when we live life the right way, then we leave this body with dignity. We leave this body with dignity because I have no strings attached. I have nothing that is pulling me. I have lived light and I will leave with ease. I will leave with ease. There's a lot that pulls the soul before they have to leave. A lot. Everything. Where all your mind gets pulled that time. But if all our karmic accounts are settled, everything is sorted, leave with ease, fly like an angel and ready to take a new costume. So, har ghadi, antim ghadi. This is how we live our life, even if we are 20 years old. This is how we live. Har ghadi, antim ghadi, which means if this is my last moment, is everything sorted? Is everything sorted? Is there any karmic account which is pending? Have I behaved right? Did I think right? This is my last moment. So, art of dying. Art of dying is actually the art of living. So if I know how to die properly is only when I know how to live properly. That's the only way I can live life, where I am detached, dignified, light, aura is pure, white, and then I am always a giver. Then I'm always a giver. Then I don't need anything. Aisa chahiye, chahiye. So seva, what brother shared, is at 4 levels. One is dhan se seva. Financially we help people, we support. The second is tan se seva, where we physically do something for someone. Third is vani se seva, which means you talk to people, you share your experience, you share your wisdom, you share your learnings. That's also seva. And fourth is man se seva. Man se seva means my vibrations are radiating to the world throughout. So spirituality and meditation gives us that power to energize this soul, keep it energized on a daily basis, give that energy to everyone, live light and leave light, and leave from this body very light. So simple steps that we can do for it. First thing is in the morning. Always keep at least an hour for yourself in the morning. An hour for self-care. So at the Brahma Kumaris, what do? That first thing in the morning, we meditate. We meditate. And second, we go to the center for the spiritual study class, which is called Murli. So morning starts with listening to what is God teaching me. Morning should never start with watching the world news or newspaper in one hand. Never consume the world onto the mind early morning. The mind is like a blotting paper. It's absolutely clean when we wake up. What is the first thing that I put on the mind? It will absorb, and that will become my personality. So, what we need to take care of is content. Content is emotional diet. What I watch, read, listen is who I become. What I watch, read, listen is who I become. So, 2 times to take care of what I watch, read, listen. First thing in the morning and last thing before going to sleep. Last thing before going to sleep. So, these 2 times, I should not be watching the news. I should not be reading a newspaper. In the night, just before sleeping, I should not be watching serials in which homes are breaking, people are fighting. Not before going to sleep. Not before going to sleep. At least an hour before we go to sleep, we have to shut off from all this, which means we can't consume any content which stimulates the mind, because we need good sleep. We need deep sleep, not just number of hours, but deep sleep, because it is in that deep sleep that the energizing of the mind and the healing of the body is going to happen. The healing of the body is going to happen. So 1 hour before we sleep, and we should go to sleep by 9:30, 10, because we will wake up at the Brahm Muhurat between 4 and 5 a.m. Very, very important. Highest energy time, 4 to 5 a.m. in the morning. But for that, we need to sleep by 10 o'clock. So by 10 o'clock, if I sleep, then by 9 o'clock, I need to disconnect from all this content. All content, any movie, any TV serial, the news, Nothing negative going in the mind in the last 1 hour. Everything can be watched before that. In the last 1 hour, soothing music, positive words, spiritual content, meditation, writing a little diary or a little letter of what happened today during the day, releasing anything that happened. If I felt bad about something, I write it out. I forgive them. I apologize. Write it out. Writing always releases everything from here. And we need to release these things to sleep well, to sleep well. So write it out. Then we meditate just before going to sleep and at least 15 minutes of positive content before sleeping. This is power. This is emotional diet. The only reason why our resilience of society is low, emotional diet, quality of content that we consume. So what we watch, read, listen is who we become. So the last hour before we sleep is extremely important. In fact, somebody taught me that day, was an Ayurvedic doctor. He said, you're also supposed to dim the lights for 2 hours before you sleep. So I said, you mean to say we dim lights for 2 hours by 8 o'clock? He said, yes, because that's the only way the melatonin will get created. That with all these lights on, you're not going to get good sleep. So he said, we are taught in Ayurveda, dim your lights 2 hours before you sleep. So, our culture has all these very, very deep secrets to our good lifestyle. We just need to start implementing them. So, taking care of our sleep, then we will automatically wake up between 4 and 5, which is the Brahma Muhurat, the Amrit Vela. Then we meditate first. We learn meditation and then we meditate. And then at least 30 minutes spiritual content. At least 30 minutes. This is like mandatory because that is diet. That is diet for the mind. Then, of course, the physical, the yoga, pranayam, walk, exercise, whatever you're choosing, definitely every day, every day. And let's start having a routine set for the day. We need to have a routine set for the day. And like brother said, there's so much we can do for the world. There is so much that we can do. Share, talk, but we need to have a routine. What am I going to do today should get decided last night. Like it used to get decided even when I was working. What am I going to do? So we have to have our routine set. Take care that you don't consume too much content from the world just because we are free at home. Sometimes watching serials going on throughout the day, kuch na kuch chalta ja raha hai, chalta ja raha hai. Sometimes watching crime shows because they are going on one after the other on a channel. This creates fear and anxiety in the mind. It's not a serial. It is content, my emotional diet. Content is equal to personality. Content is equal to personality. And then suddenly comes COVID and we say fear and anxiety is normal. Fear and anxiety is not normal. Fearless, confident is normal when there is a challenge, there is a crisis in life. So, but that is happening because I've consumed a lot of content. So we take care of the content. Then we take care of what we eat and drink, that we will eat the plant-based diet, cooked in a high energy vibration, eaten without gadgets around us, with happy conversations, connecting to God, and then saying our affirmations, saying those positive words into the food. And one affirmation which we all need to have, I need nothing from people. मुझे किसी से कुछ नहीं चाहिए. रोज बोलना है, उनको नहीं बोलना जाके मुझे आपसे कुछ नहीं चाहिए. I have to say this to myself every day. मुझे किसी से कुछ नहीं चाहिए. I'm emotionally strong. I'm independent. I'm detached. I need nothing. I'm only a giver. I'm only a giver. And not that they need to take it. I am just giving. That is my Prabhu Prasad. Keep distributing it to everybody. And then you see, you'll feel that you're the lightest. You're at the highest vibration ever possible. And when you're at the highest vibration, you're healthy. You're healthy in the mind and also healthy in the body. Healthy in the body. And never call yourself 60 years, 70 years. That's only age of the body, not our age. It's not my age. So that's why people say I'm young, because it's the age is only of the body. And that only depends on how we are taking care. So start eating for health. That's a very important thing. Eating for health, not eating for taste. That period is gone. But eating for health, then our body and our mind will always be perfect and healthy. So if you take out an hour for about 6 to 7 days, then we can also learn the Raj Yoga meditation online. So Deepa Ben is always there with us to conduct the meditation course. So if all of you all feel it can be organized online, and because you can't come to the centers right now, and then when the centers open, feel free to walk into any center which is closest to you. It's like a family. It's really a family, and a family where everyone's together with the same intention of self change and creating a change in the world. So it's beautiful to be part of this kind of a family where everyone's working with the same vibrations. And then you also get to be a part of a lot of seva that the family is doing. So it would be lovely to connect with the meditation center which is closest to you. Until then, we can do the meditation course online, maybe from tomorrow itself or whichever day suits all of you and you all decide. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this beautiful family. So wonderful energy. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
I have to make one observation. I think you gave an excellent talk, and there is a lot of learning from it. But you said so many times, giving and not taking. How do we institutionalize that in our society? Because you open the TV and you see lots of advertisement. 25% of the time is advertisement, which only 200 million people of this country out of 1.35 billion can afford. If by chance they have an access to TV, they will sleep very, very sad that they are not able to get anything. What I saw in TV, I could not get. So I think that's a dilemma which is continuously bothering me. One day I will show you what I do now as a part of giving. But that's not, and believe me, I have worked 14, 15 hours a day, the all L&T veterans know it. But what pleasure and happiness I'm getting now, because I spend 30% of my time on charity. And charity, many people may think, oh, Mr. Nayak has money, so he could spend it. I don't think that is right. Because in 1995, my father told me to help out a hospital. And only thereafter he said, I'm very proud of my son. I gave away my entire life saving. And that was not enough to get the hospital name on my grandfather. So I withdrew money from Provident Fund. And it took me 4 years to repay the Provident Fund. So I think dil chahiye. You need a heart bigger than what you is good for you, but good for also others. As I mentioned, if each one of the person listening to this, they all can afford one family, they all can afford. I know that. I know L&T veterans, they can. And I'll give you example of my office. My secretary did not have children. They adopted a girl. They don't know whether the girl is Muslim or Hindu or Christian. They are Christian. The girl is so smart. She gets first and second rank. 2 or 3 years ago, they adopted her. She speaks so nicely. Every time then the phone rings, she tells her father, your boss. And then I said, I want to talk to her. In one sentence, she talks twice or thrice, sir. That is the sanskar which was being built into that girl. The life of that girl would have been ruined. I think she's going to be one of the best, brilliant girls. That is what you have given. Even if it may be for your pleasure. But it's a good pleasure. Giving is a good pleasure. And therefore, Shivani ji, in all your discourse and all your speeches, I think if you can give few examples of how one can derive pleasure out of giving, Lots of people believe if you have money, you can give. Otherwise, you can't give. No. It is largely true, but not completely true. It needs heart. It needs urge to give. You have to get pleasure in giving. You should have a joy in giving. And that, if everybody understands, I think the world will be a better place to live.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean,
महेश भाई अनम्यूट कीजिएगा.
No, not yet. Please unmute yourself, Mahesh. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for that. ओम शांति दीदी. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया शिवानी दीदी जी for your in-depth discourse on stress-free retired life. I am sure all participants of this event will be benefited from your talk. Didi ji, we wish to have one more program with you with your personal presence when present situation gets better. On behalf of all my colleagues, I wish to convey a deep gratitude to Sister Deepa Didi for providing us IT support in using their Zoom and YouTube platforms for conducting this program. From backstage, Pune BK IT support, and from Vilepale Center also IT support has been given to us, and we are thankful to all of them. Lastly, I would say thanks to Mr. Nayak for giving us a nice advice at the end that giving is not only money, but we have to have a heart. Yes, we should develop that habit of a big heart. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that advice. Now we will have 2-minute meditation before ending today's program. Om Shanti.
Shanti. Let's sit back comfortable and visualize yourself the energy here, the creator of every thought and feeling, intention. To give is an intention. I am a divine being. My every thought is pure. My every word is powerful, respectful. My every behavior is for the benefit of all. Giving is my personality. It's my nature. Giving love, giving respect. I need nothing in return. Giving my time. Sharing everything I know. If I start making a list of all that I can give, there is abundance. Abundance. It's my sanskar, giving. Dena. I'm the child of the supreme power. Data. Data ke bacche hai hum. I'm child of the giver. Divine being needs nothing for the self. Contented. Contented. And only radiating to everyone. And so tonight, before I go to sleep, let me write down spend a few minutes with myself and write. Just ask God, I'm your instrument. Tell me, use me, use me. I don't know what I can do, but you know what I can do. So I surrender to you. I'm your instrument. Use me to give to the world. Use me to give to the world. Don't think, what will I give? How will I give? What do I have? We don't need to think. It will just automatically come to you, the answer. So just surrender tonight before sleeping. I am your instrument. I offer myself to you. Use me in whatever way you feel is going to benefit. Benefit. It can benefit anybody, anywhere. I surrender to you. I'm your instrument. Use me to give to the world. Thank you so much. Om Shanti. Shanti. Thank you. Shanti.
Om Shanti, Didi.
Thank you.
I mean, thank you for organizing this. Of course, I know Brahma Kumari for decades, and so has Shivani ji. But for the benefit of several hundred people, I think it has been a great show or a great discourse to which I think all of you should be thanked.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Very kind of you, sir.